What's the timeline still? Overnight, at past midnight here in the metro?
Yeah, it still looks probably between about 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning when the metro has the biggest chance of storms. Got my tennis shoes on, ready to go. We're going to be here for a while until Lacey says, "Okay, Cassie, you can go now," because she's going to be here. She's going to be here soon, and we're going to. Oh, absolutely. Everyone's getting their tennis shoes on tonight. Yeah, the storms, they're pretty tame right now, if you will. Looking at Storm Shield 9. Of course, we have some storms over Kansas. Those are severe. We also have some storms in the Texas Panhandle. Not quite severe just yet, but we're going to be watching all of this very closely. So just kind of zooming in a little bit more closely, just light rain kind of falling apart across Beaver County. But we also have some storms just north of Canadian Texas. Also some new storms now kind of popping up along that boundary just north of Pampa. These are all kind of moving off to the east-southeast roughly at about 30 miles an hour. So we're going to be watching those very closely. In the meantime, it's pretty quiet here in the metro. The Star Regency camera up of our Lucky Star Skycam network. 79 degrees, a southeast wind at 8 miles an hour. Dew points in the low 70s. It certainly feels like summer outside. Temperatures in the mid and upper 70s across the north. We do have some low to mid 80s still showing up across the Red River with a southeast wind. At this point, between about 5 to as much as around 15 miles an hour. Gusts a little higher than that in southwest Oklahoma. Just kind of looking at the big picture. Notice the jet stream, the position of the jet stream. That northwest flow. So it's this pattern that we've been stuck in for, it seems like, forever at this point. And this pattern, I think it will change eventually, but probably not until after this weekend. So we still have several more storm chances to go until then. And just kind of looking at our future cast, it's still looking like, again, between about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, that's when those storms are going to become a little bit more numerous, especially across portions of central Oklahoma. Some of the data is still bringing in some storms a little earlier than that in the southwest. Either way, we're going to be watching it very closely, but they're definitely going to be picking up a little bit more as time wears on, and a lot of these storms will likely be severe, producing damaging wind gusts of up to about 65 miles an hour. Cannot rule out 70-mile-an-hour plus wind gusts, especially in southwest Oklahoma. Cannot rule out golf ball size hail. But the bigger issue with this is going to be the flooding, because we've already seen so many rainstorms around here recently. The ground is saturated. It just can't really hold a whole lot more. So, of course, if we keep getting rains that just keep going over the same places, the flooding is going to be the biggest issue, which is why we do have that flood watch out until late tomorrow morning. So overnight and into tomorrow morning, I think the more likely case scenario is that storms are going to be a lot more likely in central and southern Oklahoma, but there's still a pretty good chance we're going to get some of that in north central Oklahoma. In fact, I went ahead and increased the chances across Enid, Stillwater, into Tulsa, and all the way over to Sallisaw. And any one of these storms will have the potential of producing up to golf ball size hail, wind gusts of 65. But again, the flooding rains, that's going to be the biggest issue, it looks like, especially in central and southern Oklahoma, where we could see an additional 1 to 2 to isolated more than that inches overnight tonight. So as far as wind is concerned, I think more than likely we would see wind gusts potentially 65 miles an hour, but anything higher than that, the potential is going to be a little bit higher in the southwest. And again, up to golf ball size hail, but I think that would be more isolated. I think with these storms, I think pea-sized quarters, that would be a little bit more numerous than not. Otherwise, temperatures drop down into the upper 60s and low 70s by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, I think skies become mostly sunny there eventually, and it's going to be heating back up. But because of all the recent rains, it's also going to be terribly humid outside. Temperatures in the low to upper 90s across north, mid and upper 90s across the far south as well. And so along the Red River, especially tomorrow, that's where we already have the heat advisory, where it could feel anywhere between 100 to as much as around 110 degrees. And that's going to increase, I think, for everyone through the rest of the week, even here in the metro. So by Wednesday afternoon, looking for a high of 96 degrees in Oklahoma City, but 97 in Stillwater, the upper 90s and low 100s in the southwest. By Wednesday night into Thursday morning, I think we have another chance of storms. This time, the chance is going to be a little higher east of I-35 and mainly around the Tulsa area. So for now, going with just a slight chance here in the metro. But this weekend, the pattern starts to pick up once again, I think, during the day. At least Friday and Saturday at this point, just a slight chance during the day. Those overnights, though, the chances start to pick up a little bit more. Sunday afternoon, it looks like another chance of rain and storms, and that could work in our favor, pushing temperatures back down. But by the time we get to about midweek of next week, right now, the pattern at least looks like it's going to maybe change a little bit. Maybe we can get rid of these overnight storm systems that have been causing all the flooding around here.
It's crazy just to talk about this for July.
I know.
All these
it should
storms,
be summer.
so much rain.
It
yeah,
should be summer.
Absolutely. All right.